I recently made a video outlining just about every strategy available in Rush Duel Links. Naturally, this sparked discussion about which decks might be under or overrated in the video, and how certain decks might not be using optimal builds. For example, the Climax beat list I used in the video is from before the release of Heavy Metal Scream, lacking even Widespread Ruin. After reviewing everything, I have to come clean and admit it. I am never wrong. How dare you doubt me? The audacity. Never do that again. I will find you and I will punish you. With that said, with the 20 decks to cover and several of those almost never showing up on the ladder, knowledge gaps are inevitable. For example, my Curse of the Dark list, which revolves around high-level dark monsters, failed to include Seraph of Darkness, a card that directly addresses the deck's ability to clear 2,500 monsters, one of the major criticisms I levy in the video. Similarly, my Psychic decks were all lacking Stardom Light, a card that I had yet to redeem from the month's ranked ticket. Pushing the metagame forward requires the work of individuals dedicated to polishing decks into a refined state. And I'm probably not that person, but what I can do is take feedback, update my list, and see how far they go. First up, let's update Curse of the Dark. I've taken out Seahorse Carrier to accommodate Seraph of Darkness and Red Eye's Black Dragon. Red Eye's Chick isn't a great card, but it does synergize with the Triad Drago and can be used later in the game thanks to Phoenix Dragon and Monster Reincarnation being able to recycle the Red Eyes. Note that Phantom Bind is not currently a popular choice in the meta, so I rarely get punished for having a dragon-heavy build. You could almost argue for including Dragonic Pressure, but I do suspect it would be a brick more often than not. Next up is Psychic Drive. The Roman deck I think has the most potential. The list I am using is largely borrowed from Renegade from my Discord server. Once again, we see the Aqua package is being removed, but Stardom Light can technically count itself as an advantage generating card if you set it before activating, similar to the way players would use Dragonic Pressure. Another notable change is the inclusion of Twin-Edged Dragon and Telepathic Agent, both of which work extremely well when used with Prima Gatarna to inflict damage when the opponent sets 3 and passes. We are losing out on Ghost Cyclone, but as a very aggressive deck, we are hoping to win before they get Widespread Ruin in the first place. Unfortunately, despite the changes to these two decks, they are just not up to snuff with the heavy hitters of the format. My rank climb started out fine, but when I went to get replays for the video, it took me nearly 2 hours just to get one win with each. The Psychic deck drains its own life points too quickly to make big plays and is vulnerable to every popular strategy, while the Curse of the Dark deck felt the impact of no Aqua engine, and I constantly found myself just needing one more low-level card to do what I wanted. I might try another iteration in the future that moves away from Triad Drago and fits in the traditional Aqua and Currybot package. I'm also considering cutting Severing Psychic Wall from the Psychic deck in place of additional monsters. This should provide a marginal improvement to the Resonance matchup and fits well with the deck's hyper-aggressive style. I've scraped the bottom of the barrel to get you some replays today, so let's go over the games. My opponent is going to set a bunch of cards and pass turn. I unfortunately only have one low-level monster, but thanks to Stardom Light, I am able to get out my first boss. I choose Folder Blitz since I figure it is the less impactful of the two, and I'd rather have it go down and get value out of my Giftarist later. I swing into one of their monsters, and Mike actually fails to find any high-level monsters for a second turn. This allows me to establish a board. I bring out a Giftarist, and I followed up with a Twin-Edged Dragon. Unfortunately, there is no Prima Gatarna, so while I do activate the effect to swing twice, I run right into 2 copies of Grace Princess, and do not clear anything with my Twin-Edged Dragon, and that means I am not getting in for any damage. I pass turn one more time, and it's time for Mike to play something. Phoenix Dragon comes down, and it is the Multi-Strike Dragon Dragius. However, I do have a Widespread Ruin set, so I'm good to go against this. Comes a Dragorite and a second one, and it's time to battle. When they swing into the Twin-Edged Dragon, I blow up Dragius and end their turn after taking just 500 damage. It's my move now, and I draw into Prima Gatarna and another copy of Twin-Edged Dragon. This is good enough for me, so I go ahead and make the play. This will be a ton of aggression, and while they do have 3 set cards, I'm able to clear their board even if they have a widespread ruin. I activate Psychic Drive for an additional boost and head into battle. Luckily, it seems that they don't have the widespread ruin, so we manage to clear the board and swing in with Twin Edge Dragon. A copy of the barrier is not enough to stop Twin Edge Dragon from attacking twice and finishing the game. As you can see, it required my opponent to not find any high-level monsters for a couple of turns for me to finally eke out this victory. Moving on to Dragon Knight of Darkness, we have this new match I got against Yami Ruler. The initial one I was going to show you was literally them drawing no playable monsters and me beating over for game, and I figured that was a little bit too much. So here we go, we open up with a double 1 tribute board. Speedy Performer is going to help us boost the Curse of Dragon. Then we are not going to use the ability of Curse of the Dark to shuffle away the Dragorite, as we want to deal the extra damage and establish the board presence. We boost up our card and swing into battle, crushing both Umegumi and getting in for just under half of their life points. We move on, and they are going to eventually bring in a Yami Ruler, the Dark Delayer. However, in order to clear part of our board, they are not going to be using the Delay Directive, which I think they maybe should have. Yami Ruler comes in with Pierce to inflict 2,500 points of damage. But now it is our turn, and we can summon the Red Eyes Black Dragon to boost itself up to 2,900 thanks to the skill, and we get in for game. We show them the Winged Dragon, and they are going to concede. We had the Speedy Reformer in hand, but had they just used the Delay Directive, our board would have been full, and we wouldn't have been able to summon anything to beat the 2,500 that Yami Ruler has. Curse of Dragon gets capped at 25, and Red Eyes Black Dragon would have been delayed. I don't think pushing for the damage was the right move on their part. But a win is a win. Thank you for watching.